guys? Welcome back to Almost Functional. Here about to jump into the guard index. Let's see what they have for the Astra Militarum. Let me say Astra Militarum, not guard. So the army rule is voice of command. If your army faction is Astra Militarum in your command phase, officer models from your army with this ability can issue orders. Each officer's data sheet will specify how many orders can issue into which units. Each time an officer model issues an order, select one orders below, then one eligible friendly unit within six of that officer. Alright, so orders, just like one of the things they've had for a long time. So you can add three to move characteristic of the models in unit with move, move, move. Fixed bayonets, improve the weapon skill of melee weapons by one. Take aim improves the ballistic skill by one. First rank, second rank, rapid fire characteristic of the models increased by one. But it has to have rapid fire to start with. The save characteristic of the models unit is increased by one, but not better than 3 up. And then increase the objective control. So that's real nice. They'll have their uses. None of it, I don't think, is like game breaking. It all just adds a little more reliability and functionality to your units over the game. Then the detachment rule is born soldiers. Each time an Astra Militarum unit from your army remains stationary, till the end of the turn, ranged weapons equipped with models in the unit have lethal hits. Alright, so every Astra Militarum unit, if it's stationary, gets lethal hits on its ranged weapons. That's really nice. Then their enhancements are Death Mask of Olanius, Officer model only, while Bear's unit is Battle Shot, subtract one from the objective control characteristic of models in that unit instead of changing it to 0. Alright, so that's very helpful. Officer model only, while the Bear is leading a unit, each time a model in that unit makes a ranged attack, if that unit remains stationary this turn, a critical hit is scored on a successful unmodified hit roll of 5 up. So it basically lets his unit, if they're stationary, get lethal hits on 5s ups instead of 6s. Then we got Kurvov's Aquila, officer only. Once per battle, just after your opponent has used a stratagem, the bearer can use this enhancement. If it does, until the end of the battle, the CP cost is increased by 1 for the rest of the battle. Alright, so they got a little Vect here as a enhancement. Then Grand Strategist, in your command phase, the bearer can issue one additional order. So this one's really nice. That's always good. These two seem solid. And then additional orders, I think all these seem useful. So they got a decent set of enhancements. And then let's look at their stratagems. Reinforcements is used in any phase. One regiment unit from your army that was just destroyed, you can use this stratagem on that unit even though it was just destroyed. Add a new unit to your army identical to your destroyed unit in strategic reserves at its starting strength with all its wounds remaining. Can't return characters that were attached to the unit. Alright, so that's fine. 2 CP to recycle though, but you can bring back your guardsman units. Then we got suppression fire. Your shooting phase, one Astra Militarum infantry unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot this phase, and one enemy unit excluding monsters and vehicles. If your unit scores 1 or more hits against that enemy this phase until the end of your opponent's next turn, each time model that. Alright, so basically you give -1. If you shoot the unit you target with this, with your unit you target with this, you give them -1 to hit as long as you hit them at least once. Then Fields of Fire, your shooting phase. One regiment or squadron unit from your army that's not been selected to shoot this phase. After your unit has resolved its attack, select one enemy unit that was targeted by 1 or more of those attacks until the end of the phase. Each time an attack is made against that unit with a regiment or a squadron model from your army, unless the attacking unit is battle shocked, improve the AP by 1. Alright, so you can give your stuff AP 1, extra AP against one target. Then we got Expert Bombardiers. Start of your shooting phase, one military unit equipped with a Voxcaster and one enemy unit visible. To the end of the phase, each time an Astra Militarum model from your army makes an attack with an indirect fire weapon, you get +1 to hit. Yeah, unless your unit's battle shocked, so you basically can give your indirect units +1 to hit. Inspired Command, your opponent's command phase, one officer from your army. You can issue orders if your command phase. You cannot issue that order to a battle shocked unit. Alright, so If you didn't, for some reason, in your turn, give your unit the +1 save or something, you could pop this in your opponent's turn and give it to them if they're getting shot. That's really cool. Armored Might. In your opponent's shooting phase, just after an enemy unit has selected its targets, one Astra Militarum vehicle unit from your army that was selected as a target of one or more attacking units. Basically, you can give one of your vehicles -1 damage. Then we got Lord Solar Leontis. 12-inch move, T4, 8 wounds, 3 up save, 2 OC. He's got Saul's Righteous Gaze. It's a pistol, which is 2 shots, strength 8, negative 2 damage. Then melee, he has Conquest, which is 6 attacks, strength 6, negative 2 damage. And then Constantine's Hooves, extra attacks, 2 attacks, strength 4, AP 0, 1 damage. Then he has Lord Solar at the start of your command phase. This model of the battlefield, you gain 1 CP. And then he has the Collegiate Astralex. After both players have deployed their armies, select up to 3 Astra Militarum Index from your army and redeploy them. And they can put under strategic reserves. Alright, so it gives you a CP and gives you a redeploy. And he's decent. Yeah, I'd take him. He can join Rough Riders, Shock Troops, Jungle Fighters, Death Corps, Infantry Squad, Kasserkin. So he can join a bunch of stuff. So I definitely like him. And then we got Ursula Creed. T3, 4 wounds. He's got Duty and Vengeance pistol, 4 attacks, strength 5, negative 1 damage, and then a power weapon. Then he's got Lord Castellan. While this model is leading a unit, that unit can be affected by up to 2 different orders at the same time. Alright, and then Tactical Genius. Once per battle round, 1 unit from your army within 12 of this model can be targeted with a strategy for 0 CP, even if the strat's already been used. That's nice. It's 12 inches. It's not just his unit like a lot of them has been, so that's really solid. Yeah, he can really buff his unit up, and he can issue up to 2 orders to regiment units. So he can give the 2 orders himself to his unit, and he can join Shock Troopers, Infantry, and Kasserkin. Really like Creed. We got Cadian Castellan, T3, 4 wounds, OC1, no special weapons. Senior Officer, while he's leading a unit, ranged weapons equipped by models unit have sustained its 1. And while he's leading a unit, that unit is able to shoot in a turn in which it fell back. That's nice. Sustained hits on his unit and give him fall back and shoot. Cadian Shock Troops, Infantry Squad, Kasserkin. Then we got the Tank Commander. He 10-inch move, 2 up save, T11, 13 wounds, OC3. And he can only issue orders to squadrons. So they got the Lehman Ross Battle Cannon, which is 48 inches, D6 plus 3, strength 10, negative 1, 3 damage. The Militarium Plasma Cannon is D3 shots, strength 7, negative 1, and then strength 8, negative 3, 2 with hazardous. Melta Stormbolt Armored Tracks. Each time he issues an order, can issue it to an eligible unit within 12. Death befitting an officer. When this model is destroyed, roll a d6, not 2 plus, do not remove from play. It comes back with its full wounds remaining. So you can bring it back at the after the attacking model unit has finished making his attack. Oh, it can after the attacking model's unit has finished making its attack, shoot as if you were shooting phase as at its full wound. So he doesn't come back. He just the tank just shoots before it dies. It's still nice though because he shoots at top profile. So that's really good. And then we got the platoon command squad. We got a commander, a veteran guardsman, and a veteran heavy weapon team. So the commander is 3 wounds, and then the heavy weapon team is 2. Heavy weapon team is 2 OC, while all the regular guys are 1. Flamer, grenade launcher, heavy bolter, las gun, las pistol, sniper rifle. So no unique weapons here. Stuff we've seen in all the data sheets. We've got command structure. While a friendly platoon unit is within 6 of this unit's platoon commander, you can target that unit with stratagems even while it's battle shocked. That's nice. So even if he is battle shocked, you can give him strats. Each time, if you have the Master Vox gives you each time the officer in the Spirit unit issues an order, it can go up to 24 inches. Med Pack, 6 up, feel no pain. Regimental Standard, plus 1 OC. And you come with a platoon commander 4 veteran, or platoon commander 2 veteran guardsmen and 1 veteran heavy weapons team. And then and you can give them these things. So this and then you give one of those in each squad. All right, that seems all right. Then the Canadian command squad, they don't get the heavy weapons. Uh, Commanders 3 wounds 2 as well. Rest and profile they're the same on both. Uh, they can take a power fist. Nothing else. Nothing really special in the weapons. Uh, if Canadian stands, while unit contains a Canadian officer, you can do any raw modifier's characteristics of models of this unit and to any roll or test. So can't modify any of their stats. Can't give them -1 to hit, +1 to hit, or -1 to hit, -1 to wound. Mess with their charge, mess with their move. They do what they do. They're going to be consistent. Only their save can be modified. Then they have the same war gear options. It's so this can only be a 5-man unit. They got Iron Hand Strachan, T3 4 wounds, OC1. Got an auto shotgun, 3 attack, strength 4, damage 2. He's got a bionic arm with Devil's Claw, which is anti-monster 4 plus. It's a 6 attack, strength 6, and 2 damage. He's got a scout 6 inches. Then he has cold steel and courage. While this model is leading a unit, melee weapons equipped by this model unit have lethal hits ability. That's really nice. And each time this model makes a melee attack, if it made a charge move this turn, you can reroll a hit roll and you can reroll a wound roll. And then he can issue orders to 2 units. And he's got a 4 pinball. So they don't have 6 auto wound across the army, but we've seen a couple characters already that give it, so you can still get it on a few units in the army. And he can only join Katachkin. Then we get the Primaris Psyker, T3 3 wounds. He has Psychic Maelstrom, which is blast, devastating wounds, and it's D6 attacks, strength 6, -2 1 damage. If you want to go hazardous, you gain an extra 3 shots, and it goes to 2 damage. Then he gets a force weapon. He has malign wardings. While this model is leading a unit, they have a 4 feel no pain against psychic attacks, and then psychic barrier. The start of your opponent's shooting phase, you can roll a d6. On a 1, the Psyker's unit suffers d3 mortals. On a 2 plus, until the end of the phase, models in the unit have 4 up invul. So he just auto gives him a 4 feel no pain against psychic, and he can choose to give them 4 invul. Cadian, Shock Troops, Catching. He only joins little stuff, but he can join Scions and Casterkin. So it's cool. Giving those guys an invul just makes them a little more annoying for people to have to deal with. Still guardsmen, so still wound them well. So it still wouldn't be super hard to pick up, I don't think, but make them take a little extra. Oh, then we have Gaunt's Ghosts. T3 3 wounds on Gaunt. T3 2 wounds on the guys. Gaunt's only got a 4 up. Everyone else got a 5 up. We got Bragg's Autocannon, which is a heavy, 4 attack, strength 9, -1 3 damage. Bolt pistol. We got Korvax's Hot Shot Las Carbine, which is 3 shots, strength 3, -1 1 damage. Larkin's Long Las, which is heavy and precision. 1 attack, strength 5, -2 4 damage, so that's really nice. And then we got a regular Las Carbine, which is 3 attacks, strength 3, AP0 1 damage. Then Ron's Las Carbine is Assault Sustained Hits, 3 attacks, strength 3, AP0 1 damage. Gaunt's Chainsword is 5 attacks, strength 3, -1 1 damage. Straight Silver Knife is 3 attacks, strength 3, AP0 1 damage. And McCall's Straight Silver Knife is Devastating with Precision, 5 attacks, strength 3, -1 1 damage. Alright, so lots of different things there. They have Tanith Camo Cloaks. Each time a range attack targets this unit, models this unit have the benefit of cover against it. The whole unit gets Fight First, Infiltrator, Lone Operative, Stealth. That's really nice. And then they have a Covert Stealth Team. At the end of your opponent's turn, if this unit is not within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units, you can remove this unit from the battlefield in the reinforcement step of your next movement phase. Set up anyone on the battlefield that's more than 9 inches horizontally away from all enemy models. And Gaunt can issue up to 2 orders regiment or the Gaunt's Ghosts, and they get all these unique guys in their squad. And then we got regimental attaches, T3 1 wound, OC1. They have Astropath Stave, 1 attack, strength 6, neg 1, d3 damage. It's psychic. And then they get Artillery Commander. At the start of your shooting phase, select one enemy unit within 30 inches and visible to this unit's Master of Ordnance. That has an art to this unit's Master of Ordnance model that has not already been selected for this ability this phase. To the end of the phase, blast weapons equipped by friendly Astra Militarum artillery models have the sustained hits 1 ability when targeting this unit. Alright, so basically all your blast weapons will gain sustained hits 1 against one target that your Master of Ordnance sees. Then we got the Aeronautica Commander. At the start of your shooting phase, select one enemy within 30 of and visible to this unit's officer of the fleet model. Till the end of the phase, each time a friendly Astra Militarum aircraft model makes a ranged attack that targets that unit, add 1 to the hit roll. So you give +1 to your aircraft, and then Divination. Enemy units that are set up on the battlefield as reinforcements cannot set up within 12 inches of this unit's Astropath model. Alright, couple nice little abilities. We'll see if they're cheap enough to be worth bringing. And then at the start of the battle formation step, this unit must join one command squad unit from your army. A command squad unit cannot have more than one regimental attaché unit joined to it. For the rest of the battle, every model in this unit counts as part of the command squad unit, and the starting strength is increased accordingly. If it is not possible to join a regimental attaché to a command squad in this way, it does not take part in the battle, counts as being destroyed. While this unit is joined to a unit, it can embark within any transport that unit can embark in. Alright, so this is just an upgrade to command squads. Then with the Ogren Bodyguard, T6, 6 wounds, 5 up save. He has a Grenadier Gauntlet, which is blast, D6 shots, strength 4, AP 1 damage. The Ripper Gun has sustained hits 1, 3 attacks, strength 5, neg 1, 2 damage. He's got the Bullgrin Maul, which is 5 attacks, strength 7, neg 1, 2 damage. Huge Knife, 6 attacks, strength 8, neg 1, 2 damage. And Ripper Gun in combat is 5 attacks, strength 6, neg 1, 1 damage. He gets a 6 of Feel No Pain, and while one or more officer models are in the same unit as him, the officer has a 4 up Feel No Pain. And while this model's unit contains an officer model that has lost 1 or more wounds, each time this model makes a melee attack, add 1 to the hit and 1 to the wound. Brute Shield gives a 4 up invul, and Slab Shield gives them +1 save. +1 wound. It's just 1, and then he has to be attached to a command squad. Then we get Nork Dead Dog. He's T6, 6 wounds, Ripper Gun and Huge Knife, Feel No Pain 5+, the same bodyguard ability. And then he has Thunderous Headbutt. Each time this model's unit is selected to fight, you can select one enemy unit within engagement range of this model. Roll 1d6. On a 2 to 5, they take D3 mortal wounds. On a 6, they take D3 plus 3 mortal wounds. That's nice. And then he is basically just an upgraded Ogren, so you can do the same thing as with the Ogren. You could put him in a command squad. Then we get your generic infantry squad. They're T3, 1 wound, 2 on the heavy weapon team, 2 OC, 4 on the heavy weapon team. So then nothing special in their weapons. Each time a ranged attack targets this unit, if it's within range of objector, they get cover. Alright, so near an objective, they gain cover. Well, within controlling range of an objective. And then each time you target the bearer's unit with a strat on roll a d6, adding 1 if your unit has 1 or more friendly officers within 6. And it'll find if you gave it a CP. It's fine. Their strength is always in their numbers. Like one individual guard squad isn't impressive, just hordes of them do damage. So we'll see what their pointing is, but they are pretty much what I'd expect to see out of them. Acadian Shock Troops. They get a drum-fed autogun, which is 2 attacks, strength 3, 1 damage. Nothing else. They can take chainswords. That's cool. Probably just on the sergeant. Shock Troops. The end of your command phase, if this unit is within range of an objective mark you control. So they have they give you sticky objectives, and then the Voxcaster does the same thing about gaining CP back. Then we got the Death Corps. Don't see anything special over here. They can take the power weapon. Each time a modelless unit makes an attack, add 1 to the hit roll if the unit below starting strength, and 1 to the wound roll if it's below half as well. So let's get some buffs as they take damage. And then they have a Death Corps Medipack. Start your command phase. If there's burners below half starting strength, you can turn D3. So you can bring D3 models back in your command phase if you've lost any. Then we got the Catechins. Uh, Nothing crazy here. They have a Scout 6-inch. Each time models in this unit make a melee attack, if this unit made a charge move or was charged, improve the strength and armor penetration attack by 1. That's not bad, so it'll be strength 4, neg 1 if they charge or get charged. They've always been a little better in combat than regular guardsmen. Sly Marbo, uh, 4 wounds, T3. He's got a Ripper Pistol, which is anti-infantry 2, pistol precision, 3 attacks, strength 5, neg 1, 2 damage. And then Envenomed Blade, which is anti-infantry 2, precision, 5 attacks, strength 5, neg 1, 2 damage. He has infiltrators, lone operative, and stealth. He's a one-man army. Each time an enemy unit targets a friendly Astra Militarum unit within 3 of this model with ranged attacks, after the enemy unit has finished making its attacks, this model can shoot as if it were a shooting phase. So basically, shoot a friendly unit within 3 of him, he can shoot back. He just gets to shoot. It doesn't necessarily say he has to return fire at that unit like some of the other abilities like this. So he can just shoot anybody once you do that. Each time an enemy unit, so he could possibly do this multiple times a phase if you were shooting stuff near him or shooting him, because it doesn't say once per phase or once per turn. So he could potentially shoot on infinitely. I mean, guardsmen die too easy. There's not going to be that much around him after a couple shots, but technically he could. If he's near tanks, they're harder to kill. He'd be shooting back at stuff. Then, like fighting a shadow, each time this model is shot, if it is not within engagement range of any unit, you can make a normal move if we're movement phase. If it does, until the end of the turn, he can't charge. So basically, he can move after he's shot. So he can do this another turn. When this ability triggers and he shoots, he can move. So he could move all over the place potentially, depending on what's happening. Uh, Definitely some interesting stuff with Sly. And here's the Casterkin. They get a 4-up save. They get the Hotshot Las Gun, which is just adds neg 1 to the AP. Same with the last pistol. The Marksman Rifle gets extra range, and its strength 4, neg 2, 3 damage. Hotshot Volley Gun is Rapid Fire 2. 2 attacks, strength 4, neg 1, 1 damage. Rest of it looks pretty normal. They get Scout 6-inch as well. They're Warrior Elite. In your command phase, you can select one order to affect this unit until the start of your next command phase, in addition to any other order issued to this unit by an officer model. Alright, so they can take 2. If they're near an officer, they get 2, and if you run them away from any officers, you can still give them 1 order. Then Voxcaster, and then they get the Melt the Mind. Once per battle, at the start of any phase, you can select one enemy unit within 3 of the bearer and roll 1d6. On a 2-up, they take d3 mortals. On a 2d3 mortals if they're a vehicle. Alright, so once per battle, throw for mortal wounds. Then we got a Regimental Preacher, T3, 3 wounds. Autogun, Holy Pistol, Preacher Shotgun. He has War Hymns. While he's leading a unit, they gain sustained hits, and he's Holy Piety. Each time he makes a melee attack, unless his unit is battle shocked, he can reroll the hit roll. Alright, that's cool. Then we got Sergeant Harker. He's got T4, 3 wounds. He's got a ranged weapon called Payback, which has sustained hits 1, 3 attacks, strength 5, neg 1, 2 damage. Just looks like a generic heavy bolter. He's got a Feel No Pain 6+, leader, and scouts 6 inches. His Harker's Hellraisers. While this model is leading a unit, each time a ranged attack targets that unit, if the attacking model is more than 12 away, subtract 1 from the hit. Sorry, stuff more than 12 inches away is -1 to hit against them. And then once per battle, when this model is selected to shoot, it can use this ability. If it does, until the end of the phase, its Payback weapons has an attack characteristic 6 and sustained hits 3 ability. That is really nice. I mean, it's only once per battle, but 6 shots with sustained hits 3. I mean, you're gonna normally get 3 extra hits. So he hits on 3. So normally you'll get normally you'll hit 4 times, 1 extra hit. So normally you get 5 hits out of this. Now you get 4 or 5. Now you get 7 hits, and if you get lucky and pop a couple 6s, this could really go off. And he can join Jungle Fighters. I really like Harker. That's a decent shooting for a little guy. We got a Regimental Injuries here. T4, 3 wounds, 3-up save. I guess an Archaeotech pistol, which has devastating wounds, 1 attack, strength 6, only 1 damage. Engine Syrax and servo arms. The Engine Syrax is 3 attacks, strength 6, negative 2 damage. So it's the same profile as the servo arm. It's just servo arm is just 1 attack, and it's extra attack, so you do it in addition. What's within 3 inches of a vehicle? He is lone operative. He can heal a vehicle D3. That vehicle model has a 4+ invul save. Each model can only be selected as ability once. Alright, let me read this. That vehicle regains D3 lost wounds and until starting next command phase. Alright, so he can heal a vehicle and give it a 4+ invul. That's actually really nice. And then if a friendly Astra vehicle model is destroyed within 12, his axe becomes attack characteristic 6. And then he can join most of your infantry stuff and servitors. Servitors, T3, 1 wound, OC 0. These weapons, they hit on 6s, and they get +1 ballistic skill if the engine sears with them, but it's still only hitting on 5s, although some of it's heavy, so you could potentially get down to hitting on 4s with this unit. Alright, so this, if the engine sear joins them, he just becomes part of the unit. Then we get the Commissar. He's 3 wounds, T3. Nothing special here. He's got a Summoner Execution. Once for a battle round, at the start of any phase, you can select one Astra Militarum Index unit that is battle shocked within 12 of this model. If you do, 1 model in that unit is destroyed, and the unit is no longer battle shocked. So basically, yeah, he kills one of the guys and they start acting right. Political Overwatch. While another officer model is in the same unit as this model, you can reroll battle shock tests taken for that unit. Alright, so I guess he can join units with other officers, so if you do, they can reroll battle shocks. I can issue 1 order to a regiment unit. This one can only issue duty and honor and fixed bayonets. He's got a 5+ invul. Well, another officer model is in the same unit as this model. You can roll. Alright, so I haven't seen anything like the caveat where separate models can join the same, or separate leaders can join the same unit, like we see with lieutenants and stuff. So we have a lot of like platoon commanders or something later on that can. We got the Ogren squad. T6, 3 wounds. Ripper gun, we've already seen. Feel no pain 6. They have point blank barrage. At each time a model in this unit makes a ranged attack that targets the closest eligible target, improve the AP by 1. So shooting closest target is +1 AP. They take 3 to 5 or 3 to 6 models. Ogren always nice, throw a little extra toughness into a guard army. Then we have the Bulgren. T6, 3 wounds, 4 save. They have the Grenadier Gauntlet. They have the Bulgren Maul, and they have a close combat weapon. The Maul is strength 7, negative 2 damage. The 6 up feel no pain. They have the Wall of Muscle. Basically, -1 damage to a minimum of 1, and then they get a 4+ invul save. And if they have this with the Brute Shield and 4 wounds of the Slab Shield. Alright, so they come with the Slab Shield and can be replaced with the Brute Shield. Then we got Rattling Snipers. Oh, I've always loved these guys. T2, 1 wound, movement 6. They have a sniper rifle with heavy precision. This close combat weapon. Shoot sharp and scarper. In your shooting phase, after you get a shot, if it's not within engaged range of any unit, it can make a normal move. If it was your movement phase, if it does, until the end of the turn, it cannot charge. I've always liked with them. You pop them out, snipe at something, and run away. Because at T2, in the 6+ save, they do not want to be shot. They have infiltrators and stealth, so they're -1 to hit, and you can infiltrate them. They used to have a rule that gave them extra save in cover, in terrain. They don't have that, so you're really not going to want them to get shot. Just a 5-man unit, though. I think you used to be able to take 5 to 10, but just 5 mans now. We got Attilan Rough Riders, 12-inch move, T4, 2 wounds. They got a Goad Lance, which has a lance rule, 2 attacks, strength 6, negative 2 damage. Hunting Lance has a frag tip and a melta tip, both of which have lance. It's D6, strength 4, AP 0, 1 damage, or strength 9, negative 4, D6 damage, but only 1 attack. They take a Power Saber, which is 4 attacks, strength 4, negative 1 damage, and their Steed's Hooves are extra attacks, so swing in addition. 2 attacks, strength 4, 1 damage. They can ignore any or all modifiers to characteristics and to advance and charge rolls. Alright, so their battle shock can be affected, just not their advance and charge, and their regular characteristics. 5 to 10. Scout Sentinel is 10-inch move, T7, 7 wounds, OC2. And got the military multi-laser, 4 attack, strength 6, 1 damage. Sentinel Chainsaw, 3 attack, strength 6, neg 1, 1 damage. Then he has Daring Recon. At the start of your shooting phase, select one enemy unit with an 18 of and visible to this unit. Until the end of the phase, each time a friendly Astra Militarum model makes an attack that targets that unit, reroll a hit roll of 1, and if that attack has an indirect ability, does not suffer the penalty to the hit roll for shooting at a target that is not visible to the attacking unit. So basically, he can be like a spotter, give your stuff +1 to hit, and no negatives to the your indirect. And then he scouts 9 inches. I take between 1 and 3. Sentinels have always been a nice little utility piece. Armored Sentinels have a 2-up save. I think they only used to have a 3-up save, but I could be wrong. They can take a missile launcher plasma cannon, and each time they attack a monster vehicle, you can reroll the wound roll. And it doesn't say combat only, it doesn't say shooting only, so even in combat, although with this profile, I probably don't think you want them in combat with a monster, maybe a vehicle. We got the Hellhound, moves 10, T10, 11 wounds, 2-up save. He's got his Chem Cannon, which is anti-infantry 2 Torrent, D6 +1 shots, strength 2, neg 2, 2 damage. Heavy flamer, 100 miller. Inferno Cannon is ignore cover Torrent, 18 inches, 2d6 shots, strength 6, neg 2, 1 damage. Melta Cannon, which is blast Melta 4, d3 shots, strength 9, neg 4, d6, and then a regular multi-Melta. Yeah, these guys are cool. They've had some points where they were really, really good. It seems okay. Flush them out in your shooting phase. After this model's shot, select one unit that was hit by one or more of those attacks. Until the end of the phase, you cannot have the benefit of cover. Alright, that's really nice. So you probably want to definitely bring at least one of these guys. You have so much shooting, and a lot of it doesn't have good AP, so removing cover will probably be really helpful. We have the Rogel Dorn Battle Tank. Hold on now. Lehman Russ is the only Primarch that gets a battle tank named after him, okay? Let's just get that straight right now. Alright, so we got the Rogel Dorn Battle Tank, which is T12, 18 wounds, OC5. It's got the Castigator Gatling Cannon, which is 12 attacks, strength 5, 1 damage. Coaxial Autocannon, 2 attacks, strength 9, neg 1, 3 damage. Oppressor Cannon is Blast, 72-inch, D6 +3, strength 12, neg 2, 3 damage. The Pulverizer Cannon is Blast, D6 shots, strength 9, neg 3, 3 damage. And then the Twin Battle Cannon is D6 +3, strength 10, neg 1, 3 damage. Once per battle, when an attack is allocated to this model, you can change it to damage 0. That's a really nice ability. He comes with the Gatling Cannon, the Heavy Stubber, and the Twin Battle Cannon. So he gets the Gatling Cannon and the Twin Battle Cannon. Battle Cannon replaced for the Oppressor or the Coaxial. Gatling Cannon can return into the Pulverizer. Why are they giving this guy more shooting than the Lehman Russ? I don't like that. Then we get your standard heavy weapon team. They're only OC2. All your standard heavy weapons. And then each time you target this unit with Fire Overwatch Stratagem, or as long as the strat hits your score to unmodified 5-up or unmodified 4-up if this unit is within 6 of one or more friendly platoon units. Alright, so this Overwatch better. Field Ordnance Battery is T5, 6 wounds. It's got a Bombast Field Gun, which is Blast, Heavy, Indirect. D6 shots, Strength 7, neg 1, 2 damage. Heavy Las Cannon, 2 shots, Strength 14, neg 3, D6 +1. Malleus Rocket Launcher, Blast Heavy, D6 +6 shots, Strength 6, neg 1, 1 damage. And then Battery Close Combat Weapons are just regular attacks. Rearm, Reload, Refire. Rearm, Reload, Fire. While this unit is being affected by an order, provided it remains stationary this turn, all heavy weapons the models have get sustained hits 1. Alright, and then you could it's 2 ordnance teams. Then here's the Lehman Russ. He's T11, 13 wounds, 2 up save, all the normal Lehman Russ things, same ones as the tank commander can take. We got Armored Spearhead. Each time this model makes an attack that targets an enemy unit, reroll a hit roll of 1, and if that is within range of an objective marker you do not control, you can reroll the hit instead. Alright, so reroll hits of 1. If the enemy he's shooting is within range of objective, he rerolls all hits. That's really nice. Just a one man, you can't do them in squadrons, it doesn't look like. We got the Demolisher, so same stat line. He just gets the Demolisher Cannon, which is D6 plus 3, Strength 14, Neg 3 D6. And then he has Linebreaker. When making range attacks with its Demolisher Battle Cannon, this model can target enemy units within engagement range of it, provided no other friendly units are also within engagement range. In addition, when making ranged attack, this model does not suffer the penalty to its hit roll for being within engagement range of one or more enemy units. Alright, so he can shoot his Battle Cannon into engagement with the units he's engaged with, and he doesn't get the negatives for shooting while in engagement range. That's pretty solid rule. We got the Vanquisher. Same stats here. He just gains the Vanquisher Cannon, which is heavy. It's one shot, Strength 18, Neg 4, D6 plus 6 damage. Then he's a tank killer. Each time this model makes a range attack that with the Vanquisher Cannon that targets a monster or vehicle, you can reroll a wound roll. So he gets reroll wounds against monsters and vehicles. Then we got the Punisher. He's got the Gatling Cannon. It's 20 shots, Strength 6, AP 0, 1 damage. And then his special rule is mow down the enemy. Each time this model makes an attack with its Punisher Gatling Cannon that targets an enemy unit that's not a monster vehicle, he gets devastating wounds. Alright, so he's got a lot of attacks to fish for devastating wounds, but he has no AP. Alright, that's okay. He's just for killing little stuff. We got the Executioner, who has the Executioner Plasma Cannon. Has a standard and a supercharge. Both are 36, both are D6 plus 3, both hit on 4s. Strength 7 goes to 8, Neg 2 goes to Neg 3, and 2 damage goes to 3 damage. That's pretty standard plasma upgrade profile. I don't see anything else special here. He's a Gung-Ho Executioners. Each time this model makes an attack with its Executioner Plasma Cannon that targets a unit that is below half strength, add 1 to the hit roll. So units below half strength, he's hitting on 3s. Then we got the Exterminator, which has the Exterminator Autocannon, Rapid Fire 4, Twin Linked, 4 attack, Strength 9, Neg 1, 3 damage. And then he's got Withering Hail. In your shooting phase, after this model is shot, select one enemy unit that was hit by one or more of those attacks made with this autocannon. Till the end of the phase, each time a friendly Astra Militarum unit makes an attack that targets that enemy unit, improve the AP by 1. The same unit can be only affected by this ability once per phase. Alright, so he shoots something with his autocannon, and then the rest of your army gets plus 1 AP against that target. That's solid. Then we got the Eradicator, who has the Eradicator Nova Cannon, which is blast, ignores cover, D3 plus 6 shots, strength 7, neg 1, 2 damage. And he gets Urban Warfare. When making range attack with its Eradicator Nova Cannon, this model can target enemy units within engagement range of it, provided no other friendly units are also within engagement range. So this is the same as the Demolisher. He can basically shoot his blast weapon into engagement and doesn't take the minuses. That's pretty cool. And next we have the Basilisk. It's T9, 11 wounds, OC3. It's got his Earthshaker Cannon, which is blast, heavy, indirect fire. 240 inches, so you really got to get close to the enemy before you can shoot this thing. D6 plus 3 attacks, strength 8, neg 2, 2 damage. And it's got a heavy bolter, heavy flamer, 100 kilometers armor tracks. Alright. And then he's got Earthshaker rounds. In your shooting phase, after this model is shot, if one or more of those attacks made with its Earthshaker Cannon scored a hit against an entry unit, till the end of your opponent's next turn, that unit is shaken. Shaken units subtract 2 from its move, 2 from advance, and charge rolls. Alright, so basically you can slow stuff down with this. That's really nice. You're fighting a combat army with guard. You don't want them getting into you. Then we get the Hydra, which is T9, 11 wounds, OC3. They get the Hydra Autocannon, which is Anti-Fly 2 plus Twin Linked. 72 inch range, 4 attacks, strength 9, neg 1, 3 damage. Then they have a flak battery. Each time a model makes an attack that targets units that can fly, you can reroll the hit roll. So if you're having a lot of trouble against flyers, just bring one of these guys. Then we get the Manticore. T10, 11 wounds, OC3. He's got a Storm Eagle rockets, blast, heavy, indirect fire, 120-inch range, D6 plus 1 attack, strength 10, -2, 3 damage. And each time this model makes an attack with its Storm Eagle rockets that target an enemy unit that contains 5 or more models, you can reroll the hit roll. Alright, so not only does he get blast against 5 or more models, he also gets to reroll his hits. And then we got the Wyvern, which gets their Wyvern Quad Storm Shard Mortar, blast, ignores cover, heavy, indirect fire, twin linked. Alright, so if you shoot him indirect, he's going to ignore the cover part, but basically if you stationary, the heavy will cancel out the penalty for indirect. So 2d6 shots, strength 5, 1 damage. He's got suppression bombardment. In your shooting phase, after a small shot, select one unit, excluding monster and vehicle units, that was hit by one or more attacks made by this model's mortar. Until the end of your next turn, enemy unit is suppressed. While suppressed, each time on that unit makes an attack, subtract 1 from the hit roll. Was this guy's thing called suppressed too? Which one? On the Basilisk? No, shaken. Alright. I was say if they're the same, or I thought they were named the same. I was like, that would get confusing. Shaken and suppressed. It's still kind of confusing. You got to remember the S words, but shaken and suppressed. Then we got the Death Strike, T10, 11 wounds. He's got the Death Strike missile, blast, one shot, plasma warhead. There's no range. It's 2d6 shots, strength 16, -4, 1 damage. One shot. Bearer can only shoot this weapon once for battle. Plasma warhead. The bearer can only shoot with this weapon in your shooting phase, and only if it remains stationary this turn, and you did not use its Death Strike missile ability to designate target or adjust target this phase. When the bearer shoots with this weapon, do not select a target. Instead, resolve this weapon's attack. Roll for each enemy unit within 6 of the center of its Death Strike target marker individually. Rolling for each unit within 6 of its Death Strike target marker individually. Alright, so basically you pick a spot and every unit within 6 inches gets hit by 2d6, strength 16, -4. But they're only 1 damage though. Then Death Strike missile in your shooting phase. Each time this model is selected to shoot, if it's not shot with its Death Strike missile in this battle, you can do one of the following in addition to resolving this model's ranged attacks. Designate target. If this model does not have a Death Strike target marker on the battlefield, place the Death Strike target marker for this model anywhere on the battlefield. And then adjust target. If this model has a Death Strike target marker on the battlefield, move that marker to anywhere else on the battlefield. Alright, so you can do those if it has not shot with its missile yet this battle. And then once you shoot the missile, only if it remains stationary and did not use the Death Strike missile ability to designate target or adjust target this phase. Alright, so basically you pick a spot and then you shoot this, and then you can move. He's got just one Death Strike missile. I mean, I may be missing something here, but with 1 damage in 1 shot, and you can't do it on the same turn. This, you pick a. I mean, actually, you can put it on someone's home objective, makes them move away. Because -4 is nice, but still only 1 damage. So you're going to average 7 shots. Say you shot a just 10-man guard squad. 7 shots. You get plus those. You get 9 shots. Hitting on 2s though, so 9 shots. You should hit like 8 times. Wound like 7, so you'll kill 7 guards and leave 3. They're still on the objective as long as they pass their battle shock. They have a commissar or something. They can auto. And then against a 10-man marine unit, you'll get average 8 shots. You get like 7 hits. Still wounding on 2, so you get like 6 wounds. Going straight through. But it's only 1 damage, so you only kill 3 Marines. I mean, you're going to force the units to take battle shocks, but you're not even killing full units with this thing, it doesn't look like. Now, if they stay bunched up around it, yeah, you could, but they have a whole turn to move away from it. It looks like. Uh, I don't. I'm not impressed with it, but maybe I'm wrong. We got the Chimera, T9, 11 wounds. Uh, Chimera Heavy Bolter. Let's give it the Chimera keyword, but all these look like they have pretty much the same stats as the same weapons anywhere else. Then it's a mobile command vehicle. In your command phase, one officer embarked within a transport can issue orders even though he's not on the battlefield. And then you measure the distance from the transport. I know they used to. I can't remember if they could do that last edition, but they used to always be able to do that. Then we get the Torox T8, 10 wounds, twin autocannon Stormbolter. Units can disembark from this transport even after advance. Units that do so do not count as having made a normal move that phase and cannot declare a charge in the same turn. Alright, so you advance this, the guys jump out. They don't count as advancing, so they can shoot even if they don't have assault weapons, but they can't charge. That's really nice. He can take Astra Militarum Infantry, and he can take Ogren, so they take up 3 model slots. So you can put 4 Ogren in there. We got the Valkyrie. Aircraft movement, T10, 14 wounds, OC0, 2 up save. He's got Hellstrike missiles, which are anti-fly 2, strength 10, neg 3d6 damage. His multi-laser, and he's got the rocket pod, which is blast, strength 6, AP0, d6 shots, 1 damage. Craft shoot insertion. At the end of your opponent's movement phase, one of your unit or more units embarked within this transport can disembark from it, provided every model in each of those disembarking units has deep strike ability. Alright, so you fly this over somewhere, keep your guys inside it. At the end of your opponent's movement phase, your guys can jump out, as long as they have deep strike. Alright, that's kind of interesting. Transport capacity of 12, take Olgrin. Then we got the Aegis defense line, T12, 10 wounds, 2 up save. This used to be really good when it first came out, so let's see what it does now. Friendly Astra Militarum Infantry can be set up or end any type of move on top of the platform section of this fortification. Defense line. While Astra Militarum entry model has benefit of cover as a result of this train feature, the model has a 4-up invul save. Okay, that's really nice. Then defense line. While Astra Militarum entry model was the other part. Each time a range attack is allocated to a model, if that model's... Oh, that's the normal cover thing, and then the normal fortification thing. Alright, so the 2 rules are just Astra Militarum Infantry can be moved on top of it, and they get a 4-up invul if they're getting cover from it. That's useful. Then they're giving us the Baneblade. T13, 24 wounds, 2 up save. OC8, which is nice. Baneblade cannon is blast, 72 inches, 3d6 shots, strength 12, neg 2, 3 damage. Demolisher, heavy stubber. So it's the only unique weapon. He's got a bunch of weapons, so that's the only unique one. Rolling Fortress. Each time a ranged attack is allocated to an Astra Militarum model from your army, if the model is not fully visible to every model. So basically, you get cover by being blocked by him, even partially. Bane Hammer gets a Trimmer Cannon, 2d6 plus 3, strength 12, neg 2, 3 damage. And other than that, he's got the Trimmer Quake. In your shooting phase, just after selecting a target for this model's Trimmer Cannon, target unit and every other enemy unit within 3 of that unit must take a battle shock. So that's before you shoot. So you select them, they immediately have to take a battle shock. So they can't do any defensive stratagems. Since it's your turn, you pick the order things happen in, so you can make them do this before they get to choose to do a stratagem. And if they fail, they can't armor contempt or anything like that. Rotate Iron Shield with only on infantry, doesn't affect knights, but it's useful. Then we get the Bane Sword. He has the Quake Cannon, which is blast, ignore cover, d6 plus 6, strength 16, neg 4 damage. He has armor obliteration. Each time attack is made with this model's Quake Cannon, destroy an enemy model that has... Each time an attack made with this model's Quake Cannon destroys an enemy model that has the Deadly Demise ability, that model's Deadly Demise ability inflicts mortal wounds on a d6 roll of 3 plus instead of a 6 up. Alright, so he just makes stuff blow up easier. That's kind of cool. And then we got the Doom Hammer, which has the Magma Cannon, D6 plus 3, Strength 12, negative 4, D6. And he's a close range Titan killer. Each time this model's Magma Cannon targets the enemy monster or vehicle, that unit is always considered within half range. Ooh. So against monsters and vehicles, he's always D6 plus 6 damage. Oh, that's gross. That's really nice. Then there's a firing deck. We have the Hellhammer. Hellhammer cannon is 46, strength 7, neg 1, 2 damage. That's the only unique thing I see there. And then close quarter warfare. This model doesn't have the penalty to hits. So if he's in engagement range, he doesn't get the -1 to hit to shoot. Then the Shadow Sword has a Volcano Cannon, D3 plus 1, strength 24, neg 5, 12 damage. And then each time this model makes a ranged attack with its Volcano Cannon that targets a monster or vehicle, it gets devastating wounds. That's really nice. Then we have the Storm Lord. He's got the Vulcan Mega Bolter, which is sustained hits 1, 20 shots, strength 6, neg 1, 2 damage. And he can have a firing deck of 24. At the end of your movement phase, at the end of your opponent's movement phase, if there are no models currently embarked within this transport, you can select one friendly Astra Militarum infantry, excluding artillery, wholly within 6 of the transport. Unless that unit is within engagement range of one or more enemy units, it can embark within this transport. That's nice. You run away and hide in it. And he can carry up to 40 infantry models. Then we get the Storm Sword, which has a Storm Sword Siege Cannon, which has Blast 6 Norse Cover, D6 plus 6 shots, Strength 16, negative 4, D6 plus 2 damage. He has Concussive Wave. In your shooting phase, just after selecting a target for this model's Storm Sword Siege Cannon, roll 1d6 for the target unit and every other unit within 3 inches of that unit. On a 5+, that unit being rolled for is struck by a Concussive Wave. After this model is finished making its attack against that target unit this phase, each unit struck by a Concussive Wave suffers D3 mortal wounds. Wow. So basically, roll 1d6 for every target and unit and every other unit within 3, and on a 5 up, they can take mortals. In addition to what he already does, it seems like a little overkill, but alright. Here's the Military Tempestus Command Squad. The Prime is 3 wounds, everybody else is 1. They get a 4-up save. They get Hotshot Lasgun, which we saw in the Attaches, I believe. We saw it on somebody. And then the Tempester Prime. Also, unit contains a Tempester Prime. Ranged weapons get sustained hits 1. Medpack, Standard, Command Rod. While Bearer is leading unit, it can be effective up to 2 different orders at this time. And then each officer and the Spears unit uses an order. You can do it up to 24 inches away. Just 5-man units. If this unit's Tempester Prime model is your Warlord, Tempestus Prime Science units army that have the battle line keyword. Alright, so if the Tempester Prime is your Warlord, everybody else gets battle line. So you can only take the Prime in the command squad, or is there a separate option for him? Then here's the regular Scions. No weapons in here that we haven't seen yet. They just get each time a model in this unit makes an attack, reroll a hit roll of 1. The target of the attack is an enemy unit within range of objective. Reroll all hits. Then they have the Voxcast for possibly gaining CP back. They can be between 5 and 10. We get the Torox Prime. Just T8, 10 wounds. Torox Battle Cannon is strength 8, neg 1, 2 damage, D6 shots. The Gatling Cannon is 12 attacks, strength 4, 1 damage. The Missile Launcher is a normal frag and crack. It's just double shots. Oh no, their frag is strength 8, 1 damage. If that's accurate, that's actually really nice. Then their crack is strength 9, neg 2, d6. Autocannon, and then they got a twin Thorax Hotshot Volley Gun. It's rapid fire 3 twin linked. 3 shots, strength 4, neg 1, 1 damage. And then in your shooting phase, after this model is shot, select one enemy unit was hit by one or more of those attacks. To the end of the phase, each time a friendly model that disembarked from this transport makes an attack, you can reroll the wound roll. Alright, so you can give reroll wounds to the units that got out of him if he shoots something against that same target. Then now we're down to their armory. So that's it for guard. Lots of good tanks, lots of probably cheap infantry, lots of options. I'm sure there'll be lots of some bunch of different competitive builds, but I'm sure most of them will have tanks in them. Uh, but orders seem fine. They condensed them from infantry and tank to just all the orders are the same. It's just you can choose only tanks in issue to tanks. It looks like order infantry to infantry. Uh, but yeah, they seem solid so far. Most of the armies seem very playable, and hopefully that trend contends. Hopefully that trend continues. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.